Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something really exciting. We are moving way beyond the old myths and poetic exaggerations to uncover the true, scientifically backed origins of the Tamil language and its people. By digging into hard data across genetics, anthropology, archaeology, and linguistics, we're going to trace the deep ancestry of Dravidian-speaking populations. We'll find out exactly how their ancestors first arrived in South Asia tens of thousands of years ago, and how their early speech laid the absolute foundation for the evolution of the Tamil language as we know it today. Here's a quick look at our roadmap. We're going to cover deep ancestry, myth versus science, the Indus Valley link, agricultural migrations, some incredible breakthrough excavations, and finally, what it actually takes to define a civilization. Let's jump right in with Section 1, Deep Ancestry. The sheer scale of this history is just staggering. The genetic roots of modern Tamil speakers stretch back a massive 70,000 years to the original out-of-Africa migration. By about 68,000 years ago, descendants of early Homo sapiens had actually reached South Asia. And these early populations, they brought with them the foundational dialects that would eventually evolve into Tamil and other Dravidian languages. Now, for the vast majority of this immense timeline, all throughout the Paleolithic and Mesolithic eras, these groups lived strictly as nomadic hunter-gatherers. But right around 12,000 to 10,000 years ago, everything changed. We see the dawn of agricultural transitions. This vital shift from foraging to farming completely altered human settlement patterns, essentially laying the genetic and cultural groundwork for the great civilizations we'll be looking at today. Moving on to Section 2, Myth versus Science. So, historically, our understanding of ancient Tamils was built almost entirely on Sangam literature. And while that poetry is undeniably valuable and beautiful, it's a pretty limited view of ancient society. It embraces a lot of poetic exaggeration and, honestly, misses some massive historical realities. For instance, epigraphical evidence proves that Jainism had a huge influence before the Common Era. We found Buddha statues in eastern coastal excavations, and there's clear proof of extensive overseas trade agreements discovered in foreign lands. Sangam literature barely even touches on these dynamic political and economic shifts. That's why the new approach demands empirical proof. By integrating genetics, archaeology, and epigraphy, we can finally step out of a society frozen in poetry and step into a proven physical reality. Professor K. Rajan from Pondicherry University really hits the nail on the head here. He points out that a single primary source simply does not reveal the multifaceted nature of a society. Only by integrating literature, epigraphy, numismatics, and archaeology can we truly reconstruct the past. This multidisciplinary methodology is the absolute anchor of our explainer today. It's really the only scientifically sound way to accurately piece together this complex puzzle. Which brings us to Section 3, the Indus Valley link. South Asia's very first wave of urbanization happened during the Bronze Age in the Indus Valley, eventually spanning over 1 million square kilometers. Its mature phase ran from roughly 2600 to 1900 BCE. But here's the big question. Is there evidence the civilization was Dravidian? Well, the linguistic breadcrumbs are absolutely compelling. First, the Brahui language, which is a Dravidian tongue, has miraculously survived isolated in the Indus region for millennia, and people literally still speak it there today. Second, the incredibly ancient Rigveda is dotted with distinct Dravidian loanwords. Third, if you look at those distinctive retroflex sounds like da and na found in Indo-Aryan languages, those are actually foundational Dravidian phonetic influences. And finally, we see major structural shifts in Prakrit that pull it away from its Indo-European roots and much closer to Dravidian language patterns. It's also worth noting that Aryan-speaking populations migrated into South Asia around 1800 BCE, which was only after the mature Indus Valley civilization had already collapsed and fragmented. Section 4, Agricultural Migrations. So what happened after the Indus Valley fragmented? Both genetics and ancient literature confirmed that a significant portion of these Proto-Dravidian speakers began moving southward. They migrated down through Gujarat and Maharashtra, bringing highly sophisticated farming techniques straight into the Deccan Plateau. And it's crucial to understand, this wasn't some violent conquest. It was a steady, gradual migration of advanced agricultural knowledge that fundamentally shaped the demographic landscape and the cultural DNA of South India today. Eventually, these populations reached the highly fertile basins of the Kaveri, Vaigai, and Thamarbharani rivers, where they seamlessly merged with local late Neolithic populations. This highly developed integrated society ultimately became the very foundation for the legendary Chera, Chola, and Pandya kingdoms. Let's look at the physical proof in Section 5, Breakthrough Excavations. Over just the last few decades, archaeological breakthroughs across Tamil Nadu have rapidly, completely rewritten our understanding of the past. From Adi Channeler, excavated by T. Satyamurthy, to Kodamonal and Poranthal, led by K. Rajan, and those massive, headline-making finds at Kihati, initiated by Amarnath Ramakrishna, all the radiocarbon dating points to a fascinating convergence, 700 to 600 BCE. Now, in archaeology, the historical period of a region is strictly defined by the presence of a decipherable script. And for South India, the earliest readable Brahmi scripts found etched on pottery at these exact sites perfectly align with the 700 to 600 BCE timeline. We are quite literally looking at the hard carbon-dated dawn of southern Indian history. Finally, Section 6, Defining a Civilization.
In the academic world, you can't just call any old settlement a civilization. Urbanization relies on very strict criteria, originally established by Gordon Childe and later expanded by Raymond Alchin. A civilization requires permanent, large-scale settlements. It has to generate an agricultural surplus and maintain planned towns. You need public architecture, a decipherable written script, a hierarchical social structure, and established long-distance trade networks. Now, when we apply these strict scientific benchmarks to our carbon-dated sites in Tamil Nadu, Adichanalar, Kodumanal, Porantal, and Kiyahadi, they don't just meet a few of these criteria. They unequivocally check every single box.
Think about this. When archaeologists first excavated the Indus Valley, they found 96 mature urban sites alongside hundreds of smaller settlements. But they didn't name them as dozens of separate isolated cultures, right? They unified them globally under one title, the Indus Valley Civilization. So, as we examine all these scientifically verified findings across Tamil Nadu, sites sharing the exact same 700 BCE timeline, the exact same early Brahmi script, and the same advanced level of urbanization, we are faced with a pretty profound question. Instead of calling these sites by fragmented regional names like the Purunai civilization or the Kiadi civilization, is it time we officially recognize all of this as one unified ancient Tamil civilization? It's a massive, paradigm-shifting question that completely challenges our view of deep ancestry in South Asia and definitely leaves us eager to unearth even more of this extraordinary history.